So here we are on the beautiful Elveden estate. Could you introduce yourself as the new farms director?
I'm the managing director. So Andrew Blank, I am the managing director of Elveden Farms Limited.
Andrew, we've known you many years. Let's start off by talking about what have you seen over the last decade as the kind of game-changing technology that's really helped you on farm?
Yeah, it's just to say it's been frustrating actually in terms of the last 10 years, but we've seen some significant advances, the ability to collect so much data, and indeed I think we're starting to utilize some of that data quite effectively now. Here a really good example is an onion grader, and each of the individual onions gets its photo taken 38 times or something significant like that. And that is enabling us to not only market almost all of our onions, but it's actually making sure that our customers receive exactly what they want. So that's a really good example of how technology has helped our business success over the last that's about 4 years we've been involved with that. And then starting to look at some of the data that the tractors is gathering up. It's enabled us to look at wheel slip, it's enabled us to look at idling time, it's able to improve efficiency in terms of harvesting of some of these crops as well. So we're seeing lots of significant advantages. Another good example is crop yields associated with cereal crops going through the combine harvester. Indeed, forage harvesters are achieving quite a lot in terms of forage maize for AD plants and that sort of thing. So we're starting to harvest a whole load of data. One of the big challenges we've got is, of course, how to better utilize that data to ensure that we make more profit out of it.
So looking ahead to the next decade, where do you see the Elveden estate kind of leading the charge into the future of agriculture?
I think to lead the charge, we need to be really able to ensure that the data we've gathered so far and are going to continue to gather, that is meaningful and it's going to help us achieve a profit. So it's going to increase our margins, but that's going to come through to the profit for our business. And I can think of lots of good examples. I think there's lots of merit with autonomous vehicles to reduce the amount of labour that is involved in growing those crops. And some of the examples that we've got is we can't find the labour these days. Who wants to sit and run a de-stoner at sort of 2 kilometres an hour for weeks on end? So autonomous vehicles have the potential to do that. Some of the technology associated with better utilization of the resources that we use, so fertilizers and agrochemicals being a good example. So individual targeting of that resource, which I know will reduce our costs associated with that and hopefully improve our margin. So there's all of those sort of things. But indeed, some of the other data that we're going to gather and better utilize in terms of crop quality, better utilization of water, particularly water. That's one of our biggest constraining factors here at Elveden, is the supply and utilization, effective utilization of that water. So all of those sort of things are going to make the business more robust for the future. And I can include in some of that data, we run hospitality and retail, so just like the big supermarkets, we're gathering all of the data, and unlike them, I don't think we've been effectively utilizing it because we haven't got the resource that they've got. But that will be very much part of the future here. And some of the things that we've sort of our better utilization of carbon, and moving in our targets. 10 years, the NFU set the target of net zero, farming being net zero by 2040. So we're only 15 years away from that. So in the next 10 years here at Elveden, we really need to be achieving or getting very close to that target.
Wow, so lots to go at over the next decade.
Yeah, that's the timeline I've got, I think.
And who needs to do what? Obviously you've got the work on the estate that's going on, but more broadly in, I don't know, policy, research, technology, who needs to do what to help that all come together in the next decade?
Yeah, I think it's a really complex question. So I think probably we need to start with the research. So we need to make sure there's proper funding and resource available for those people to research all of the aspects that we've talked about. And then of course, once that's completed, the technologists need to enable the systems to be put in place to utilize that information, that research. And one of the key things that we really need out on farm is something that, and I call it shovel ready. Yeah. We need the technology to arrive on the drive in the farmyard, and somebody to be able to remotely switch it on, or indeed switch it on the machine itself, or the IT package, and it delivers a result there and then to our business. We don't want to be messing about, seeing, having to learn with the machine or with the technology. And I think that's so important, that lots of farmers, we don't have the opportunity, we don't have the, we're pretty time hungry, we don't have the time available to us to resource that research. And that kind of the biggest frustration that I certainly have over the last few years is that we're not finding things that are shovel ready.
Right. So there's a clear call to arms there to the innovation community to crack on, really.
Deliver. We're very prepared to invest in this technology, and indeed, lots of other assets, to make sure that we produce better crops, more sustainable, good for the environment, and achieving our net zero targets. But I think we really need help from those people to get something there that is meaningful from the moment it arrives with us.
We hear you. We're on it.
Well done.
Thank you, Andrew.